is a beast. It's a beast, and people love, 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 love this phone. When you get this phone, you are dealing with a phone. You are dealing with a phone that is not the same size as your iPhone. It is not the same size as your Samsung phone. It is considerably bigger. Now, is it unwieldy? No, it's not unwieldy at all. It's actually very comfortable to hold. It has a lot of real estate. If you're somebody who's doing networking, if you're somebody who's doing a lot of video stuff, if you're doing Zoom calls on a phone, if you happen to be 70 years old and your eyes are a little tired, you'd like some print a little bit bigger, it's a fabulous phone. It is a fabulous phone. Costs a little more. The people that have this phone so love the phone. Now, I recommend, and the company hates this because they don't produce as many 620s overall as they do regular phones, but I recommend if you're in networking that you consider getting the 620. Okay, like I said, it's not unwieldy. It really isn't. It's big, but it's not uncomfortable. Now, why would I recommend you get this phone? Because if you get a 420 or a 220, this is the 220, and you tell people there's a bigger phone out there, the first thing they say is, how big is it? Okay, and trying to describe how it feels in your hand or how big it is, I don't know, it's kind of like trying to describe the color sky blue to a blind man. It's a project. But if I have this phone right here and they like it, they go, wow, I really love this phone. I love the size of this phone. And people really do. If you'll notice, over the last 8 generations of phones, they're not getting smaller. They're getting bigger every time. Well, this is the record holder right here. So if they like that phone, you got yourself a fantastic sale. If they say, wow, it's a beautiful phone, it really is, but it's a little big, do you have anything smaller? Well, we have a 420. Well, what size is that? It's the same size as the one you have right now. Oh, okay, I'll take that one. I can go down easier than I can go up. So let's talk about what these phones come with. The 220 comes with basic service. And the basic service for the phones is the same for every single phone. It's $40 a month. That includes unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Unlimited data. Okay, that's competitive with anybody, folks. $40 a month. Okay, could you find, Cricket maybe for a little less? Yeah, you get what you pay for. If you want a real phone, $40 is a bargain. The 220 and the 620, and there's your phone comparison right there. That's lined up. The 220 and the 620 have a different data plan. The data plan is $70. Wow, that's a lot of money. Depends on what you get. One of the things that people really, really struggle with is their health. And half the network marketing companies out there are marketing to people who are concerned about their health. This phone has the ability to press a button and it will do a scan. And before you say, wait a minute, everybody does a scan, okay? Got an iWatch, do a scan, check my heart rate, how many steps I went up and down. No. This doesn't do your heart rate and how many steps you went up and down. This does the oxygen level flowing through your body. It does the SpO2 oxygen level reaching your brain. Now, why is that important? Because if that starts to drop in a family member, that's your indication that you've got some serious mental problems, Alzheimer's, dementia, whatever, or stroke, coming down the road. It tells you your heart rate. Yes, it does. It tells you how many breaths you're taking on an average in a minute. It tells you your minimum and your maximum in your diastolic and systolic pressure. And then it gives you a stress readout. Wow. Even the 220 does this, by the way. All phones do this because Clear believes that everyone should have access to their vital information. Nobody else does that. To this degree, not anywhere close. Now, the interesting thing is, with any other phone, I have to be holding the phone, have my fingerprint on a sensor, being touching the side button, have a watch. I can put this phone in a cell phone holder 2 feet away, and I don't have to touch this phone but to press start, and it will give me all that information. Now, by background, I have 2 medical degrees, and I'm a pastor. So I understand medicine. This was above my pay grade when I first heard this. I wasn't sure quite how this worked. It uses thermal imaging and infrared to detect the blood flow differences going in and out of your brain. Wow, pretty impressive. If I have a 220, I have that information. If I have a 440 or a 620, and I do my stress level and it's high, I press the button on my phone, it says, call the doctor. And I have an internist at my disposal 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 30 days a month. It's included in my plan. Now, folks, if you have a family member or a sick one or a little one, and you can get a hold of a doctor, you can hold the phone up, do a stress test with your munchkin, and the doctor can see that information, or you can export it to him with a push of a button on a phone, and it saves you 1 emergency room visit. You just paid, on an average in this country, 7 monthly phone bills. 1 visit. Now stop and think about this. How often would you use a doctor if you didn't have to pay for it? Anytime you thought you had a problem, boom, done. Physicians are the #1 most requested thing in that arena. The second most requested specialty is a dermatologist. Why is that? I've got this creeping, crawling, crud-looking rash, and it's on me or it's on my baby, and it's in places it's not supposed to be. I got burned. Spent too long in the tanning bed. I've got some stuff going on in my face I don't understand. I've got some spots that are appearing. I want to know what this is all about. Second most utilized specialist is a dermatologist. By the way, he or she's on the phone too. It's not the same guy, by the way. These are dermatologist specialists. Now, they're on your phone. They're included in your plan. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 30 days a month. The third most requested specialist, and we're coming into the specialist season for #3. Believe it or not, that's a therapist. Do you have any idea how many kids are committing suicide? If not, call your suicide prevention hotline and ask them. It is terrifying. And let me tell you what these kids don't do. They don't call mom and dad before they do it. Because if they could talk to mom and dad and they had an open line of communication they felt they could trust, they wouldn't need to commit suicide. But these kids are committing suicide. They're cutting. They're going to drugs. They're doing everything in the world. They're cutting because they're hurting. What's it worth to have your kid be able to press a button and say, sweetheart, what's going on? What's going on here? Talk to me. Let's see if we can work this out. Terry made a fortune with the previous company she was with. You know who that was. Because she took care of vets and they took care of her. I wouldn't want to know how many vets are wandering around today with PTSD that are struggling through their life, that are wondering if it's worth continuing because they haven't got any help and they don't know what to do. Folks, we're coming into the suicide season. As any crisis hotline will tell you, it's November 15th to January 10th. More suicides are committed by elderly that are left alone, by teenagers, by vets, by people that are worried about their finances, by wives that can't talk to their husbands and they have no one else to talk to, okay? By abuse. What would it be worth if you had a button on your phone and you could call a therapist 24/7, 7 days a week. And by the way, he wasn't the dermatologist or the physician. 3 specialties, $70 a month. Is that worth it? I don't know. Use one of them one time, and you'll pay your phone bill for 7 months. That's included in a 420 or a 620. So you see, we don't have a phone. We have a whole different ballgame here. Now, I don't have to sell a phone. The phone will sell itself if people just know what it does. Because if you grasp the concept of, I want my life back, I want my privacy back, I want my data back, then you already know this is the answer right here. Now, the Holy Grail